As a domestic violence survivor, I know about the beatings, the slapping, the hitting, the punching, the biting, the pulling of the hair. And I also know about being constantly afraid of what may happen next. But will a new law protect domestic violence victims? Let's find out right now. Happy Terrifying Tuesday. It's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrico, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. I hope y'all have a beverage. I hope y'all have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best, and y'all are ready to hear a story from the Cajun Crime Queen. And yes, today is a bonus video like last week. I promised y'all I would start doing 2 videos a week, and I am trying, and I love it. I love that I'm getting all this positive feedback. I love that y'all are watching my videos. I'm getting so many requests. I'm getting so many messages, and it feels great. And I just want to thank y'all again for all y'all love and support. Today, we are going to be doing part 2 of Dr. Amie Harwick. I found lots more information about Dr. Amie Harwick and about her murder and about how she was murdered. As we all know, in 2020, Dr. Amie Harwick was murdered by her ex, Gareth Pursehouse. Amie moved to LA when she was only 20 years old after meeting a drummer in a local band. They decided to get married. The marriage dissolved after 3 years, and in 2009, she met Gareth Pursehouse at a LA party. He was a photographer, he was computer savvy, and he was trying to be a comedian. They had an okay relationship at first, but he was very possessive and very jealous. They had a very violent relationship. Amie would often make police reports that he would choke her, suffocate her, punch her with a closed fist, and throw her out of vehicles. And even after all of that, even after being so smart, beautiful, nice, and sweet, she went back to Gareth Pursehouse over and over and over again. And as we all know, as domestic violence victims, we decide to keep going back to our abuser. I don't know why, but we do. And I'm trying to stop this so none of you get hurt in this violent relationship. Always know you can get out. And like I always tell y'all can always message me. I will always be open to discuss things with y'all because no one deserves to be a victim of domestic violence. Amie's parents never knew about the abuse. They didn't know anything. Amie never discussed with them how she was getting abused. Physically, mentally, emotionally, she wanted to spare her parents from any type of worrying. She wanted to protect them like we all do. Like we all say, we don't want anyone to worry about us because we think we got this. But in 2012, after almost 2 years of dating, Amie decided to distance herself from Gareth Pursehouse, even put a restraining order against him, but it didn't work. He kept stalking her. He kept calling her, texting her, even breaking into her house. But she was done. She was finally ready to move on and be without Gareth. Amie, instead of going into a deep depression and constantly crying, she decided to thrive, and she received her degree in licensed marriage counseling. She was a therapist. She would counsel women about their relationships and showing them how to move on from relationships. And the crazy thing is, she was helping all of these women with their relationships, going through her own violent relationship. You would have never known she was going through all of this because she was thriving. She was happy. She was smiling. She didn't let anyone know what exactly she was going through, which again, that is a very hard thing to do. But she was putting on the happy face, knowing that she was hurting inside from this relationship. Like I said in my last video, she met Drew Carey. They were together, I think, for about a year. Amie broke off the engagement because the engagement was causing so much attention. She was engaged to a celebrity. She knew what was going on with Gareth. And y'all, it is crazy. And I would do the same thing. I would do the exact same thing. She knew she was getting all of this publicity about dating Drew Carey. She knew her pictures were out there. She went on The Price is Right with him. She was at parties with him. He would go with her places. She knew Gareth was probably extremely depressed seeing all of this. So she said to herself, I need to break away from this relationship. I need to move on from it because it is too much. It's too much attention and I want it off of me. But in the back of my mind, I think she was worried about Gareth. I think she knew that Gareth was a little unstable and what all of this was doing to him. And she was trying to protect herself and Gareth from being hurt. And it is crazy because she wanted to move on so bad. But another bad thing in this world is we have social media. And a lot of us want to post and want to be happy and want to show people our relationships and what we're doing and where we are. But for someone who is obsessed with you, when they see all of that, it's putting them deeper and deeper and deeper into this depression. But they have full access to you on social media. They know exactly where you are. They know exactly what you're doing. And they know exactly where you're going to be. So just be careful when you're dealing with social media. As I mentioned in my last video, Amie was invited to the X-Biz Awards in January of 2020, just a month before she was murdered. That is where she ran into Gareth Pursehouse, and Gareth Pursehouse, he was distraught. Y'all, he was absolutely distraught. He saw Amie, he started coming towards her. He dropped down in a fetal position crying. Amie tried to calm him down for over an hour. She was trying to do everything she could. She just got into that therapist mode and was just, patting him on the back, trying to make him calm down. He was calling her name, saying, "You ruined my life," but she was still there. And that's how we are. Like I said, I'm compassionate. I know for a fact that's what I would do. You don't want to walk away and make it worse. You want to try to make them calm down and see the light. Amie was so terrified that night. She decided to get pepper spray because the restraining order that Amie had put on Gareth, it expired years ago. So Amie had to protect her own self. But getting pepper spray and sharing her location wasn't enough. One day, just like in the Rebecca Schaefer case, you can get anybody's address, phone number, anything that relates to them on Google search, on the internet, or hiring a PI. Anybody can go and get this information and find you. Rebecca Schaefer was living in California and she was shot and murdered at her front steps. And the guy that murdered her, he had got in touch with the PI and the PI found her. Gareth found Amie's phone number and started calling her, started texting her, started stalking her again after the X-Biz Awards, but she wanted nothing to do with him, just blocked his number constantly. Anytime he would try to get in touch with her, she would block his number. And I'm going to play a voicemail that he left Amie for y'all right now.
I have so much I need to say. Please give me a chance to just say it. Please.
You can hear the hurt and pain in Gareth's voice. You really can. He is hurting. He is trying to manipulate his way back into Amie's life, but she wanted nothing to do with him. And I have total respect for Amie. I think that's awesome because it is very hard when you love someone or when you have loved someone to completely wash your hands of that person and move on and just keep blocking the number. So she was doing the right thing. But Amie was going out on Valentine's night as a single girl with her friends around 7 o'clock. She left. Around 9 o'clock that night, Amie's roommate heard some kind of breaking. He thought maybe Amie's cat had knocked down something upstairs, or he didn't think of anything. And around that time is when the neighbor's Ring camera saw a man that looks exactly like Gareth jumping over the fence, wearing gloves, and they believe that Gareth broke into Amie's house on the 3rd floor and broke the French door windows. I'm going to pause right there. How in the heck did he get on the 3rd floor? I mean, was he walking around with a ladder? Did he get in another way? We just don't know, but that's kind of strange to me how you break the door off the balcony. I mean, he had to have had a ladder. I don't know how he got up there, but he got up there some type of way and waited for Amie. And what police believe, which is crazy next, it is insane. They believe that Gareth had been planning Amie's murder after he saw her at the X-Biz Awards. He wanted to make a statement on Valentine's Day. He wanted to show Amie that he can maybe win her back. So what he did was lay in her bed, This is what the cops think. He laid in her bed waiting for her to come home from her Valentine's night outing. And I didn't mention to y'all in my last video, because I didn't know about this information, there was a lot of blood found at Amie's residence, and the DNA matched it to Gareth Pursehouse. Gareth probably didn't even know that he was cut and leaking blood everywhere, because like I always say, DNA is bulletproof. It is there, but the defense can say he had been in the house. It's, you know, yes, it's his, but he was there. But it is bulletproof. It shows he was at the house. And Amie put up a fight because Gareth had a biting mark on his arm. He had a black eye. There was a very, very bad struggle in that house. Michael Herman, Amie's roommate, was there and heard the screams and the struggle and started yelling and caught Gareth by surprise, because Gareth didn't know anyone else was in the house. So Gareth's scared. He runs around. Michael Herman, her roommate, runs to his phone. He can't find his phone. He runs outside to the neighbor's house, bang on their door for them to call the police. He's so worried about his friend, but never goes and helps her, which I wonder why. I wonder if he was scared. I wonder if Gareth did something. I wonder what actually happened, because for him not to run upstairs and help his roommate, something must have gone down. Something must have happened. Well, Gareth is 6'4" and is over Amie, strangling her. They're fighting. He then carries Amie, who is unconscious from being strangled, barely alive, and walks to the third balcony and just throws her off. I do not think that was his plan that night, because I didn't think that he knew Michael Herman was home. I think that, remember those syringes of nicotine that was found at the scene, and they were also found at Gareth Pursehouse house? In my opinion, I think he was going there to inject her or inject himself, because we don't even know if nicotine is detectable in the body about how someone is murdered. He may have gone there with this big plan. He was going to murder Amie, then put this syringe of nicotine in him, and he was going to kill himself. But the roommate being there maybe just caught him off guard, and he was worried. He was scared, and he just did what he had to do. Then surveillance camera sees him jumping back over the fence, running away, having these gloves, having all this stuff with him. But another thing, if Gareth was planning on just killing himself, why would he have gloves? Why would he be trying to hide his hands? Why would he be trying to break into the apartment if he just wanted to talk to Amie and then do something to himself? None of it adds up. In my opinion, I think he knew that Amie wanted nothing to do with him, and he was going to show her a statement that night, on Valentine's night, to show her, if I can't have you, no one else can. Just 5 days after the murder of Dr. Amie Harwick, on February 19th, Gareth Pursehouse is arrested outside of his home. And when he was arrested, when I watched the footage, he was like, "What are y'all doing here? Yeah, I know Amie. I didn't kill anyone." He was sent to jail. And guess who the defense blamed for Amie's murder? Y'all ready for this? They blamed Amie. I was shocked. I was appalled. I said to myself, how is it Amie's fault? Well, officers believe, and the prosecution believe, that ex-biz awards on January 16th of 2020, when Gareth ran into Amie, it set him into a deep, deep, dark depression. And his intention that night was just to talk to Amie. And he brought this syringe to maybe take his own life. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I think, like I said a while ago, I think he had a mission, and the mission was to kill Amie. But the defense just kept saying, if Amie would have just spoke to him, if Amie would have just talked to him that night, this would all be different. The defense said that Amie herself may have jumped off the balcony, because the defense decided to show a beautiful picture of Dr. Amie Harwick, flawless. She was absolutely gorgeous, sitting on a balcony, just an amazing picture. And they said, look how comfortable she was with balconies. Look how comfortable she is just sitting there, knowing that she may fall. So Amie may have jumped off the balcony. Now remember, Amie was just strangled and beaten. There was a huge struggle. So Amie's going to get up from all of that, climb over a 3-foot balcony and jump to her death? I highly doubt that. And another thing, saying that she's comfortable with balconies because she was sitting there on a balcony. So that means if someone takes a picture of me, Anne-Marie, sitting by a fireplace, all smiling, and I'm just happy, and it's an amazing picture of me, and then my ex or someone that I know murders me by putting me in a fire, that means I jumped in the fire because there's a picture of me smiling by a fireplace. It doesn't make sense. But the defense didn't have anything to go by. They didn't know what else to say. So they just wanted to blame Amie, which is crazy. It's appalling. It makes me so angry. Another thing, just weeks before Amie's murder, those French doors that Gareth broke in, that you see the window broken on the French doors, she had met with a handyman stating that she wanted to make sure the French doors were secure because she was worried about someone breaking in. So Amie knew seeing Gareth at the Ex-Biz Awards was about to set him off. She was petrified. Another thing, while Gareth is in jail waiting to go on trial, he makes a phone call and tells one of his friends, well, I guess I'm a bad boy. I kind of always been. Really? That was shocking to me that he would make that comment. Worrying about himself instead of worrying about Amie and her family and her friends who he had just taken the life out of her by strangling her and throwing over a balcony. The whole thing was crazy, and he just seemed like he didn't show any concern to anyone. The defense has a new theory. They're saying that Amie is the one that may have attacked Gareth Pursehouse, which I highly doubt that happened because Amie was 115 pounds. Gareth Pursehouse was over 200 pounds and 6'4". So I do believe that Gareth Pursehouse is the one that attacked Amie first. The jury believed it. The jury sentenced Gareth Pursehouse to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He is never getting out of jail, and he will remain there. And I think he should be there because he committed a horrible murder and took someone away from us that so many people loved and admired. And she was there to help people. And now she can't because she was a victim of domestic violence. I think it's just horrible. And her family and her friends are trying to change the law, stating that a restraining order should never expire. It should be on that person for the rest of their life. And I think that could happen. That could happen because once that little piece of paper is taken away from that person, they feel the need, they feel free to go back to that person and maybe keep stalking them, keep abusing them, keep trying to keep them in their life. Now, I'm going to leave a link down in the comments for the GoFundMe page. Amie's friends and family want to build a beautiful bronze statue of Amie and put it in Hollywood Cemetery. Hollywood Cemetery is absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. I've been to Hollywood Cemetery several times, too many times to count. It is loaded with movie stars. It is beautiful. It's these beautiful mountains and grounds because her family and friends want a place where Amie can be standing there on this statue, and her friends can go there to remember her and speak to her and leave flowers because Amie was born and raised in Pennsylvania, and that's where she's buried. But people want to go see her and talk to her and remember her in California. It's a beautiful bronze statue with her cat at her feet, which I think is so cute. One plaque is going to talk about Amie, and the other plaque is going to talk about domestic violence and the victims. And as we know, several people die every day from being the victims of domestic violence. My final thought, I always come to y'all with my final thought. My final thought is we need to educate ourselves more in domestic violence and why it happens and that it needs to be stopped. It does. It needs to be stopped. Amie got out. I got out, and you can get out. If you are a victim of domestic violence and you think that you cannot get out of it, yes, you can. And yes, you can move on. You go put a restraining order on that person, or you go into hiding, anything you can to move on from that person because no one deserves to be a victim of domestic violence. Amie did everything she could, but Gareth Pursehouse was too unstable. Now, what I'm going to discuss next is something that y'all need to pay close attention to. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm going to give you some advice. When it comes to someone that is very fragile, that is stalking you, that is calling you, that is texting you, that is calling and texting your partner, or knowing where you or they are, do not poke the bear. Do not. Meaning, if you know a person is hurting, don't go on social media or a place where you know they're going to be and show your new partner off, or show what you are doing and where you are and how much fun you have. Because if you know that person is hurting and crying and has already hurt you in some type of way, don't throw it in their face, because you know what's going to happen. It's going to make them fall into a deep, deep, dark depression. I do believe we should all share our stories. I do believe that if we want to go to Hollywood and climb up the mountain and see the Hollywood sign, and we with our partner and we want to take a picture and show the whole world, yes, I do believe that. I think that sharing your life with the people you love is amazing. I think it should happen. But sometimes it might be a good idea to wait a couple of months, because you don't want to poke the bear. You don't want that person to go in some kind of rage and go crazy. And discussing this case with one of my friends said, oh, well, that would just boost my ego if I had someone that was so obsessed with me, that was calling me, that was stalking me, that was showing up to where I am, that's calling my partner, that's calling them and telling them this, this, and this, and showing up where we are. I would love that. It would definitely boost my ego. So some people enjoy the chase. I think that it shows a person is extremely insecure, extremely worried about themselves, and you don't want to show that feeling. You don't want to show someone that you're jealous or that you're worried about what they're going to do, because for some people, they actually enjoy it. And when my friend told me that, I thought about that for a while and thought about that could make someone feel like, oh God, everybody's chasing me. This is just a great feeling. But it's not. It shows insecurity, and it shows a form of weakness. I think that a person should move on quietly and let themselves heal. Don't talk to that person. Don't go see that person. Don't post about your new partner. Y'all need to let each other heal privately without discussing things with anyone. That's just my personal opinion. I think anyone can get out of a domestic violence relationship, and I think it can be done now. And like I always tell you, you can always message me. I will always be willing to discuss anything with y'all about domestic violence. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope that y'all like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to press on that notification bell so you never miss a video from yours truly, Anne Marie. I want to thank you all again for your love and support. I want to tell y'all that I love y'all all very much. And if it wasn't for you, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now, which is making videos and educating you on this video about domestic violence. I love you all, and I hope y'all have a good night and a good week. Bye.